Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a huge question, one that gets right to the heart of Iranian identity. Do the 10 million Kurds in Iran see themselves as part of the nation or as a nation apart? We're going to explore a really long history of struggle, a cultural battle for survival, and what it all could mean for the future of Iran.
All right, so this all started with a question posed online. An American on Reddit asks, essentially, hey, I hear that Iranian Kurds see Iran as their home and don't actually want independence. Is that true? And wow, the discussion this sparked, it was immediate, it was huge, and it was incredibly revealing. And let me tell you, the response from people who identified as Kurdish was, well, it was swift, it was passionate, and the message was pretty much unanimous. It directly challenged the entire premise of the original question.
I mean, take this user for example. They just flat out reject the whole idea. The sentiment was crystal clear from so many people. The desire for their own self-determination is the absolute top priority no matter what kind of government is in Tehran.
And it goes even deeper than just Iran. This comment right here, it broadens the scope and really hits on this powerful, recurring feeling of not belonging to any of the modern states whose borders were drawn around them. It speaks to this shared sense of alienation that cuts across the whole region.
Okay, now this is really interesting, because it's not just about independence. This comment introduces a crucial alternative. While the dream might be a state of their own, there's also a very pragmatic vision here, a federal system, a version of Iran that's decentralized, where Kurds can actually govern themselves.
Then you've got this point, which is, well, it's a powerful accusation of hypocrisy. A user calls out what they describe as a kind of doublespeak. To the outside world, the line is, the Kurds are family, they belong with us. But internally, any push for basic rights gets you labeled a separatist or even a terrorist.
So, you gotta ask, right? Why? Why is this desire for separation, or at the very least, autonomy, so incredibly strong? Well, to get that, we have to look at a really painful history. We're talking broken promises, violence, and just systematic repression.
I mean, just look at this pattern. It's devastating. You have 1946, a brief, shining moment of hope, an independent Kurdish republic, crushed in less than a year. Fast forward to 1979. They support the revolution, hoping for more rights, and instead, a jihad is declared on them. Then, in the 80s and 90s, their leaders try to negotiate for peace, and they're assassinated. You see the theme here? Every glimmer of hope is met with brutal force.
And this chart just says it all. Look, Kurds are about, 15% of Iran's population, but they make up almost half of the country's political prisoners. That's not a coincidence. It's a staggering number that shows you just how targeted this reality is.
And the pressure isn't just political, it's economic too. 16.3%. That's the unemployment rate in the Kurdish provinces, one of the highest in the entire country. And according to the sources, this isn't just bad luck. It's seen as the result of decades of deliberate economic neglect.
So how does this work in practice? Well, one of the main tools is a law called Gojinaish. Basically, it's a selection process. To get a government job or into university, you have to be vetted to prove your loyalty to the Islamic Republic's ideology. You can imagine how a system like that is used to shut out ethnic and religious minorities.
But it gets even more personal. We're talking about a full-on attempt to erase a culture. They ban certain Kurdish names for newborn babies. You can't learn your own language in school. They literally rename your ancestral villages to Persian names. And it even gets deadly. Security forces target these border careers, the Kolbars, who are often just risking their lives to make a living because there are no other jobs.
So you have this whole pressure cooker of political, economic, and cultural repression, and then it all explodes in the tragic story of one young woman. A story that, as you probably know, lit a fire across the entire country. We're talking, of course, about Jina Amini. Now, the world mostly knows her as Mahsa, but Jina was her actual Kurdish birth name. She was forced to use Mahsa, a state-approved Persian name, because her own name was forbidden. Just think about that for a second. From the day she was born, her very identity was being contested by the state.
And this brings us right back to that online discussion we started with. This comment just nails it. Insisting on using her real Kurdish name, Jina, isn't just a small detail. It became an act of defiance. It's a way of saying, you can't erase her. You can't erase her identity, not even in death.
Jina's story really brought this concept of double oppression into the global spotlight. She faced violence as a woman in Iran and also as a Kurd. So it's really no surprise that the slogan that unified the nationwide protests, Woman, Life, Freedom, or Jin, Jian, Azadi, actually comes directly from the Kurdish freedom movement. It was a Kurdish call for liberation that resonated with millions across Iran.
Okay, so with all this history, all this pain, and this powerful desire for change, what's the end game? What is the actual political vision for the future? Is it just, we want our own country, or is there more to it?
And this is where it gets really nuanced. Because while the popular feeling for independence is incredibly strong, the official goal of the major Kurdish political parties is actually to fundamentally transform Iran itself. They're pushing for a federal, democratic, and secular country, a place where power isn't all held in Tehran and where everyone's rights, no matter their ethnicity or religion, are protected by law.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that original Reddit post. The question was, is Iran a home for the Kurds? The overwhelming answer we heard from them was a clear no. So it leaves us with a much bigger, more universal question to think about. What does it actually take, not just in Iran, but anywhere, to build a nation that truly feels like a home for all of its people?